back to another AC frame maker tutorial, and I have a cigarette falling down here on how to do spooky Halloween trees. So what I did here is something a bit different because I had a really bad cough going on and my cats were annoying me, and I had a few neighbors come knocking and trying to disturb me. So I did a bit different video. So what I'm going to be doing here is basically doing a walk or commentary of a video that I did. So doing the steps of making a tree and give you some helpful hints of yeas, nays, and what I could have done better, what I did wrong, because I am experimenting with some new material here, mainly floral tape that I didn't want to stick, and a lot of crazy glue. So stick around and hope you guys enjoy the video. Bye.
Alright guys, what I have here is a cup of coffee. No, seriously, I've got, if you can see, and you can't from that angle, I've got 1, 2, 3 strands of wire. They're, each strand's got 3, so it's 3, 6, 9. I got them somewhat separated. Down at the bottom of these strands, I do have them already to go to twist off. I'm going to want to twist this stuff off here. I'll mute this volume to give me a firm twist on the bottom. I really don't want to give a firm twist all the way up my trunk. I just want to give a somewhat turnaround on there to keep it fastened, somewhat tightened. And then I'm going to, where my trunk's going to basically branch off on the first part, I'm going to give it a nice tight twisted up area. Some of these reasons for doing that is, and I don't know why this is playing so slow, but some of the reasons for doing that is when you're adding in some extra strands that you might have cut off of different various lengths, you're able to tie them into the body of the tree where there's gaps and holes and secure them in there nicely. Also, while you're doing that and getting that twist around, you're not getting as nice, tight, secure. You're getting some, bulging out areas. You're getting some areas that are a little more deformed. That is what you want, in my opinion. That's going to give you a more realistic looking tree trunk. So then a straight, smooth, tightly twisted. Because if you look at the Lemax trees or Department 56 or anyone who makes Christmas trees that use this technique of wire and floral tape, because this isn't uncommon to just myself. There's a lot of good people that do videos on here. So including Caitlin from Kate's Crafts is one of them, and I'm trying to remember the name. I think the Aiden is the other gentleman. And I'm just going to pause here really quick and talk. But when you buy those type of trees ranging $12 to $15 Canadian, so they are tightly twisted and they are tightly wrapped, so smooth. Yeah, they look like trees, but they're manufactured trees. They look good, but for the price, I don't want to pay that price for something I can make myself. I can get all this stuff at the dollar store. It's just simple floral wire. I'm using a 22 gauge or 22 caliber. So with 190 feet, this is what I use on my air dry clay trees. And I have just did a tree with this type of wiring and technique, and used no floral tape and no air dry, just straight up hot glue and then paint and a little block, and oh my god, it looks gorgeous. I'll have a video up on that within the next few days, hopefully sooner. But anyways, back to where I'm going. So I don't like to use a tight weave when I'm going along my body right up here, just down near my base, so I have it nicely secured, and just up near into the top where I'm going to start my first branch out. So I like to use pliers to give my turns and my twists. It just gives a nicer, easier time, and you don't get blisters on your hands like I've got. So once you've done the base and you've got where you're going to want to go, I'm just going to quickly start separating how you're going to want your branches. I'm separating one out on the bottom below, excuse me with the hiccups. So, and then I'm going to branch up even higher with my trunk. So I'm just going to twist a bit. Holy moly, this last video recording I did was horrible. This was a recording I did of doing commentary over it, a bunch of clips, and it seems like it slowed everything down on me. I'm not even... I think I got the wrong video mixed together. We will need to come back and edit this out. Alright, let's find out where I was and why I messed up here. Alright, I had to edit and come back because I screwed up somehow. So once you get your base the length you wanted, grab some floral tape. I start off, and a lot of people start off with their first base of floral tape, just going from the bottom of the what's it called, the base of the trunk, going to where it splits off. So I'm going to tightly pinch and wrap. When I do my other video, and it'll be up after this on how to make trees, or if you're watching this after it's already been edited and released, you're going to see that I actually, where I have looped out on the bottom for the tree trunk roots, I usually wrap my trees around there with the floral tape. Personally, I just like to, weave it into the bottom and then start working up, and then it looks like it's sort of straight from the roots up. So as you can see, I'm going nice and tight. Nice and tight. So, and if this was good floral tape and not crappy stuff, that would be sticking with the wax adhesive. So I'm going to keep on twisting until I get to the very end, and then I'm going to come right back down again to the base of the tree. So now I'm just using the wire from the top to twist while I'm keeping a nice tight tension. Use my finger to pinch. I'm going to switch and come back down using the tree. So don't worry about the wires getting twisted up. You're going to, untangle them several times during tree making. So, and I'm just going to quickly zoom myself through here because you don't need that. Okay, so see how it's completely covered? I don't care how nice and clean it is. We're just going to get one more final coat of covering before we go and paint it up and make the final project on it. So I've done the tape. We're going to finish off around, and I like to weave mine into the top of the branches. So, because when you weave it, it gives it a cleaner look. You don't see those wires that are splitting out on you. All you see when someone actually inspects it is eventually going to be the tape that's painted. If you're using brown, you don't have to worry about it. So as you can see, I'm weaving all the way through each of my stalks. This is where I'm going to make my first bend in my tree. So, and I'm going to bring it all the way back down again. This is where I'll clean it up a bit nicer. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my branches already started to go out where I want. So right here, I've twisted each of my branches coming out. So from this is going to be continuing on with the main trunk. These will be splints. If you notice all around here, if you follow the mouse, I got all these long strands. Of course, a tree is not going to be that big or that long. You can make one that big, that long. It's going to take you a while, and you're going to be adding a lot of extra wire pieces into it. So, which is fine if you want to do that. That's too much work for my lazy butt and for what I like to do. Hence, I'm the hasty tray maker. I like to go quick. I'm going to end up looping these, and you're going to see what I do with the loops soon. So as I loop in, instead of cutting little pieces off of different lengths to loop in, which you're going to see me do, I like to start off my tree here with loops, and then I can cut those loops in half because you're going to fasten those loops up really good. I'm going to hold and pinch them in. I've got bad pliers. I can't find my proper pliers I use for this. I was buying needle throwing tips. So, and then I'm going to try to pinch it in and give it a good firm turn once I can get it into there. Come on. Pain in the butt. Complete pain in the butt. Okay, so anyways, here we go. We're going to get it pinched in this time around. I can see myself being happy this time I took. And I'm going to turn nice and tight. When you're doing these branches on the corner with the loops, you want those loops tight. Because what you're going to end up doing is you're going to end up cutting those loops, snipping them in the middle, and I'm pulling and giving them tension so I can turn them tighter. So the tighter, the better. Because I can keep on, instead of you adding those little strands in to give extra branches, I just keep on cutting these loops and folding them in and cutting where I want them. So if I don't want a branch being, where that loop is, looping off, then I'll just snip where that loop is. So here we go, you see me looping. I'm giving a nice tight twist. I'm holding with my pliers so we can make sure I'm not going to lose the wire or the twist, and it'll come all loose. And we're going to quickly, here I'm adding in a wire. I leave a bit of a gap before I twist the rest of the loop, and I add in the wire and start twisting that loop around the wire I'm adding in, because I wanted to make that loop go out into 3 branch prong, and I won't be able to do that using just the simple loop technique. So I'm going to have to add in one more piece. So I get this branch out where I want it. I'm just going to quickly work this one up. As you can see, I'm looping. Oh, this is where I tie in the third branch before I finish looping, and I loop it in between the 2 pinches so it gets nicely secure in there. Some people leave a bit of a gap in there, so I do as well throughout this project with that gap, so where I think I'm going to be wanting to add extra tree branches in. That way I can just slide it in between the gap and the wire, clamp down, do a few fastens on the bottom. If you fasten it around the bottom and leave yourself some extra room with the wire, so it secures it much easier when you're trying to fasten the top. It doesn't start moving that bottom down as much. So I was having a hard time with my prongs. You're going to see me do this, and I'll go over this in my other video on how to make regular trees. So I get in there much better, and I'm not doing the review or the tutorial this way. This is pretty crappy. I'm probably going to do a new one down the road. So anyways, we're going to quickly scroll through. As you can see, I've got my first branches cut. I'm looping, and I'm going to keep on doing this the whole way up. I'm going to start from the bottom. Actually, let's go back here. I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way to the very top. When you're looping and you get little strands of wire at the bottom where you're looping, don't worry about that. You're going to be able to take your clamps and clamp in with your pliers. You want to do that. On this tree, I end up coming in an area and covering up with hot glue for 2 reasons. One, it's going to be more chances of breaking my wiring trying to clamp it the way I wanted it to clamp. And 2, so I'm not going to get the effect I'm going for. Someone knocked, I think, on my door, so it's throwing me off. So as you can see, I'm going to keep on, oh yes, I use it because I want to get the gnarled branch coming out as it, when at the end when I'm taping over it, I want to look gnarled in a few areas. So, and I would have intentionally used the hot glue there anyways. So I'm going to keep on twisting this and twisting. And remember, when you're twisting, keep a main part of your trunk and just keep on breaking strands off from the side and working them. So as you can see, I'm keeping my main trunk is still here. I still have enough wire to keep a good thick trunk going up as I strand off of it. So I'm just going to quickly, you don't need to see everything here. As you can see, I'm trying to, this is where I hot glue the areas I knew I'm going to have thicker wiring. I didn't want to have to try to clamp, possibly break branches, and I wanted to get a gnarled effect on branches, so this was a perfect area to gnarl it up. And hot glue is great for the gnarl effect. So I'm going to keep on twisting. Don't worry, as you're going, don't worry about the form of your tree. Your form is going to keep on getting adjusted and shifted. As you can see, there's my base right here still working. So, and I'm going to make that my next section off, and I'm going to twist a bit higher here. So, and that keeps me going. So again, I'm finding areas as I'm moving where the wire's, moving on me, so I clamp it down. Keep on scrolling here and save about half an hour of the video time. Oh, if I'm showing something there, it must mean I got a look I wanted. So, and yes, I'm forming the shape I want as I'm going for the most part, but I know it's going to get moved and changed and adjusted on me throughout the project, so I'm just keeping it roughly where I want it. So, and then once I'm completely done and before I paint, so I will completely move it where I want it. So, if I must say so myself, that is looking pretty damn good for a tree, and I've only got a few strands left to go. So I'm going to quickly work those last few areas off. Work them off, work them off, work them off. Oh. And there we go. Beautifully finished tree pretty much. I only got 2 areas on top that I don't think I have bent, and I'm about to go bend them right now and finish this off. Yeah, it's a little time consuming to do, but you know what, the end results will look awesome. I mean, totally freaking awesome while you're doing this. No complaints whatsoever. Oh, so let's go back. It looks like I'm ready to go here and give a little go on our tape now. Floral tape. So I'm going to get some pulled out. Measure off what I think I'm going to need. Give yourself way more than, I give myself about 3 to 4 times the size of what my tree is going to be. So, and when I start off on my branches, I like to start pushing in the middle of where my branches start splitting. It just gives it a firmer hold down. And I'm going to eventually be coming back anyways after I get every branch covered up. So, and it's all done, and I'm going to give one more final covering on the outside to beef up the tree a bit more and hide any strands that I might have, not gotten in as great. So as you can see though, I'm pulling around nice and tight and keeping the tension on there. If you're using wax tape or good wax tape, you're not going to have to worry as much. See how I can have a nice good pull on there, nice good tension? So I'm using the tree more than anything to turn around to keep that tension on my branches. So, and then it doesn't loop up in the same area, and thickness. So you get more of a quicker pull. And I'm having a harder time on that tree because, one, I'm not getting a piece of stick I should be getting from a good floral tape, and 2, So I'm getting good stickiness on my finger, but the tape doesn't want to respond to me. So I'm going to go to the very top. So once I get to that branch, let's get up here. I'm going to start, come on. I'm going to weave it in between where it bows out. I want it to get looped in around and tied off. So when you look in it, it's a cleaner look to it. It's not going to be ugly. And branches sticking out, and you see the wire splitting again, like at the base of the trunk where it splits. So you want it, you know, being tied in and bolted and nicely tucked. And I don't have the most nimble fingers either, so this doesn't make it the easiest for me. So I'm just going to weaving it in between where it breaks up into two different branches, and as I weave, I come back up one of the splits, and then I weave myself back down and come back down the other split. And if you had good floral tape, as soon as you come down off the last leaf and wrap around the branch coming down, it should stick. This stuff again is crap. It did not stick the way I wanted it to stick. So it was just all around horrible floral tape. So I'm just going to scoot through here. So you're going to do this with every single branch. Every single branch. Same process pretty much. Start at the first break, use that first break, and I'll talk about breaks. So when I'm going up, I'll start, this is my first break here, so I'll bring some tape in. If you have good floral tape, you should be able to start on the bottom, come in and loop it, and work up to your brand, each branch. Again, I have crap floral tape, it didn't work. So I'm going to get some good floral tape in a few weeks and redo this video when I get some more, what's it called, to wiring. So I'm going to just quickly go and we'll skim through here. Well, skim through here and come back. Alright, I forgot that I edited some of this stuff out already while I was doing my other video. So the tree has almost got the whole one branch done now. So I've come back with the tree completely covered up from head to toe. So as you can see, the base, don't worry about the base, we'll be cleaning the base up. So because this tape was so crappy, I ended up having a thicker base breaking from the splinter than I wanted to. So, but I didn't mind once it was painted up to give a good spooky look. So here we have our tree pre-taped up here. So here it is with its tape, and I got those knurls intentionally there. So I want that so it looks a little more spookier when I get it painted up. So a bunch of ash from cigarettes. And you see me now doing my paint job here. So actually, no, did I go past the painting? Oh, that's absolutely horrible. I thought I did the paint job, showing the paint job. Okay, so I end up painting this tree, holding it upside down completely. I start painting by upside down from the bottom, where the bottom of the tree would start, to the top of the tree. That way it gets, and I use a watered down 3 to 1, I say 2 to 1 closer, paint to water, and that way some of it seeps into any cracks of the tape I missed, yet it still adheres enough to the plastic seal on the tape. So once I do that, I go over with a little bit of yellow umber I had. This was my burned umber I had, and I lightened it up with some white, and then I came over with a little brown umber or yellow umber to highlight, and then I gave it a black wash and seal. So probably 10 parts water, 1 part paint, and that way it just kind of covered over everything and gave a nice little look of, you know, that spooky eerie look. And once I did that, I started blocking the base, because I painted the base up. I got it nice and painted. So, and then I started dumping a bunch of block over it I had left over from another project. And this one here, I ended up coming back with some glue. So, and putting down some more to give it more of a rustic look. Once I had my base down and my paint was still wet, so I ended up taking some of that turfing that I was shaking off in the block, all that mess, and I ended up putting it completely over the tree. I wanted it, you know, sprinkling over and falling where it's wet to catch on. So, and you'll see me doing this tree right here with my pre-block. I'm going to do the base first and just cover up areas that I didn't get. So, and then, so we're going to get it up and over the tree too. So I can't remember if I did it on this tree or if it's when I finally painted this tree up. But anyhow, you're going to be pre-blocking while it's still wet, because the paint's going to help block it in. Once you get it all locked in, if this is going to be for a wargaming board or storage, I suggest locking it down with PVA glue and water mixture from a spray bottle, and just spray over it and lock everything into it, and you'll get a nice beautiful tree. See, this is, I did the same technique when I came over with some glue. So let the glue settle, and then I like just sprinkled more of the coarse stuff I had, and then I let it sit down and dry so you don't see the glue. So, alrighty. And this is the finished product. These are some trees I did afterwards. So as well.
Just to show you guys the ending of the trees here. Here is my tree made with just wire and floral tape. I wanted spookier Halloween looking trees than what could be get from, you know, well, what you get from, what is it, Landmarks and area, or Department 56. You usually generally get something like this, but just all black, or you get the traditional Christmas tree, but just black. So these are Christmas trees, two different varieties, and they also use the floral tape and wire. I don't like that look as much. As you can see, this is theirs, right here. This is mine. I think I got a nicer, spookier look for my tree. Plus, the tape I was using for these trees over here, I'm going to put this case right in front of us and put some of my trees. And I will show that.
I just want to pause here and make the comment. If you're using good tape, I mean good floral tape and not this crappy, I'm not sure if I just got a bad batch from the dollar store or what, because dollar store tape should work no problem as well, or at least the brown floral tape works just as good as Walmart's. But, if you're using that floral tape, your branches, see how mine are a little more thicker? If you want to get this smoother, thinner branch, so you want to make sure you go with a good tape. I could not get that smooth look even if I wanted to with this tape. I wasn't going for that smooth look. I wanted a thicker, beefier tree to give it more of a Halloween, scary, spooky look. But, you know, if you're looking for this smoother style of branch as you're going up, and this is just easy. You start from the top and work your way down and wrap around the base as you're going down. You'll see this in one of my other videos. So that's how you get the thinner base, and then you wrap from the top or bottom all the way up to the top last branch with your last final layer like I would do.
Some line in with the other one so you can kind of get a little bit of a look here on Oh, good. I think all the trees I made. More spookier our trees are here. These took me a little bit longer to make with this wire than this would have took me to make, or with this floral tape, because it did not want to stick whatsoever, so I ended up I wanted to do multiple layers anyways, but my base layer, like I should have had just like these two trees, one thing close, is not going to work. But I would still do these with that tape any day and use a little hot glue to, make the areas stick down. Then go through, and let me move some of these out of the way here. Then go through making these type of trees. This was for my Christmas village. This was originally supposed to be air dry clay. So I got it at Michael's, and it was a piece of crap. No wonder why it was only $7-8. I only paid like $3 with coupons, because it started cracking all over. You can see them on my other tutorials. So to try to fix it, I ended up using glue, which I absolutely loved. And I wouldn't mind trees like this again. Not to be dishonest, but if it comes to having to make one of these trees, and this again is the air dry clay, just like this one I was showing. But the only difference is I used clump foliage, and I added on a bunch of fall foliage sprinkles, just to kind of give it a unique keep on losing this tree because it's off balance. It used to be glued down into one spot. But yeah, so anyways, I like these trees for time consuming and less effort and less pain, but these were pain in the ass to make. As nice as they look, as gnarled as you can see some of the features in here. These ones are much easier. These ones I find look much spookier for a Halloween look, which is what I was going for, the spooky Halloween look. And I hope you guys, this is a crappy tutorial doing, pictures instead. Some of this I was doing some video with no sound because my cats were being annoying as living hell. So, but we got them done, we got the tutorial. I just need to mix everything up and show you guys. Oh, also, outside of doing these simple wire trees with floral tape, so I had green, so I ended up painting this brown. If I would have been using brown floral tape, I would have just highlighted with some yellow umber, and I would have also just put the black wash over afterwards. But here are also a few more trees, and we'll put my body in the way here so you can see the trees. This is just a regular twig from my moss and that. As when I was plucking out my moss to do my scenery. I had several of these. I want to do several more bases and trees like this to put on my board. And I also have these little sprigs, and these look phenomenal when they're dry, and you can put them down on a board for doing a fall and Halloween. Even using them during Christmas. I'll be using all of mine during the upcoming Christmas village. So I hope you guys get some stuff out of this. Also, there's some great videos online for making trees this way as well. Kay's Crafts is an awesome site for going to look for that. So I suggest you check them out as well, and happy making.